but everything on my auxes are inactive. And another thing I do is I gain match, which is super, super important. And it's a big thing that I figured out at some point, is like, if you have all your gains always leveled to the same place, what could happen is you could basically pull up a template and you could go through like 4 compressors without touching a knob, because everything is always going into the compressor at the same level and going out from the compressor at the same level. And when you gain match, you kind of, when I'm saying gain match, I mean I use clip gain in Pro Tools to basically move everything to -18. -18 is my standard.
Nice. Yeah. Also, there's like there are ideal, like, you know, I guess dBs to hit these plugins that are especially the ones that are emulating like analog gear, and I think it's around there, -18 to -12 or so, I think.
Yeah, -18 dBFS is roughly 0 on a VU meter. So if you're using analog based plugins, like plugins that emulate analog equipment, most analog equipment sounds the best when it's around 0 dB VU, just because the way tape works in general. But when they emulate the plugins, -18 is the sweet spot usually. Like, depends, but usually, yeah.
No, that's a hot tip for everybody.
Yeah,
I thought it was -12 for some reason, but -18 sounds awesome.
Some things sound
more
good
headroom
on -12. I mean, it really depends on the plugin. Some plugins, it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't matter whatever you put it into. But in general, I suggest to just kind of pick a number. The lower the number is, the easier you're going to have at kind of doing radical changes. Because if you're in -18, you could pull up 20 dB of low end and you're still good to go in terms of headroom. But if you're like -2 and you want to pull 20 dBs up,
you're done.
You're done.
You're toast. I listened to an interview with this. There's a guy named Billy Decker who works in Nashville on like country records, and he's like the fastest mixer. Like, he does mixes in an hour. He does like all these country mixes like so quickly, and he basically has this master template that he just kind of uses all the time. Mm-hmm. And he does like what you're talking about, like clip, like what's it called, gain matching. And he adjusts the gain of like the individual tracks, so it hits his template just right. You know, it's just like, okay, he needs the bass at -18, so he just makes sure that the bass is at -18. Like, and he could even see in the waveform, he could visualize what it's supposed to be, so that it's hitting his chain the way it's supposed to.
That's exactly kind of what I'm talking about. That's exactly the same concept. And then what happens is you also you calibrate your mind to figure out if something is working or not. This is kind of a hard concept to explain, but if you're using the same level all the time and you're listening at the same level too in terms of SPL, you'll know right away when you open a new track if it's working or not, and if it's not working, what the problem is, because you're not changing like the gain structure of how everything is routed and working. It's kind of like it's kind of like intuition in a way. Like, yeah,
it's like your ears remember the levels that things are supposed to be.
Yeah, and then a lot of times I'll open a session, I'll start messing around with it, and something's not working. I don't know, like in the bass area or like in the vocals area, whatever. And I won't like adjust the plugin. Instead of that, I'll adjust like either the clip itself or adjust, the audio channel, which is faster and, I don't know, gives you a better result.
Okay, so all these chains, I guess, are happening on the aux plugin, so you could just like adjust your track until it hits it just right.
Yeah. And then
nice.
And then basically I have a bunch of outboard, which I kind of stopped using at some point. One by one.
Nice.
It's sad, but the only hardware I love mixing with is the Manly New Mu. compressor, which I have on
Cool.
my master bus.
It's like a very Mu kind of compressor.
Yeah, it's like the new generation of the Very Mu compressor, like the classic one. That and tape. So I have a bunch of tape machines, and I really believe that like tape is the last thing that plugins just don't do well. Like,
really?
Yeah, I feel like the magic of tape is still like huge compared, like the difference is huge compared to the plugin emulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Zulu box? I've heard amazing things about it. It's like a $600 like tape machine emulation box or something.
Yeah, funny that you mentioned that. I was thinking about buying it. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it because like the thing that I love most about tape, especially I have a 4-track MPEX machine, is how every day you turn it on, it sounds different. And I think it has to do with the fact that it's so random, like the tape is moving around and it's just a really random machine. And the Zulu box looked really cool, but at the same time, nothing's moving over there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have like this kind of on and off thing.
Right. It's kind of like a glorified plugin in that sense.
Yeah, in a way. But yeah, tape is awesome. I don't know. I think that also it's really creative. So like you never really know what's going to happen when you put things on tape, especially if you put things on tape several times. So I've done this a lot. Like I'll put a vocal on tape and then again and again. And like a fourth time you put it on tape, it's like super weird and crumbly and cool in a way. I don't know. I just love the weirdness of it.
Wow, that's amazing. I was going to ask you a question. Do you have any like favorite tools, I guess, other than tape that are, that you find help you do creative work?
I think this is going to be kind of an annoying answer, but I think speakers and headphones are like probably my most important kind of tool. I feel like
that's an awesome answer, man.
Yeah. I'm using ProAct speakers, which I love.
Oh, wow.
And the first time I listened to them, like listened to a mix I've done on them, I literally cried. I'm not kidding. Like I cried just because
I feel you.
I felt my mix sucked. I was like, this is terrible. I should quit mixing. This is a joke.
Oh wow!
And then I just bought a pair, and yeah, they changed my life.
Wow!
Yeah,
sick.
I feel like that's like the first thing that people should invest money in is getting like a really good pair of speakers.
Wow, you're catching me at a time when I'm like doubting my speakers and thinking about buying new speakers.
What speakers are you using?
Just the classic Yamaha 80s, They're nothing special, and I'm so sick of them. Like their upper mid range it's too much.
Like something I realized, I feel like each person has a specific area of frequencies which always bothers him. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm always kind of intrigued and kind of at the same time bummed out from low mids. Like,
oh wow,
I tend to like, I don't know, like obsess about the 100 to 300 area more than anything else. And I feel like the ProActs complete me in that sense because they're so detailed in that area. It's crazy. And
yeah,
I feel like if you figure out, like if you find a speaker that kind of accommodates you in the area where you're most obsessed about, you're going to get better mixes. So if you're obsessed about high mids, man, you should find a really high midi speaker. It sounds weird.
Oh no.
But,
I don't want the high mids. I hate that.
No, it's the same thing. I mean,
I'm the guy that hates solo violins. Like people say, "Oh, I love a violin." Oh God, get a violin away from me. Okay, a quartet I could deal with. A string quartet I could deal with, but like, it's just not my thing. So you figure me. I'm a bass player, so the low mids are like always nice for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's funny. I mean, I got to this realization when I was visiting Yossi Fine's studio. You know Yossi Fine?
Yeah, he's a bass player.
Yeah, he's like a
Producer.
super producer in Israel, and he has the most subs I've ever heard in a room in my life, in his home studio. And I was just sitting there when I was visiting his room. I was like, I would never be able to mix or even like have an opinion about music with so much subs going around. But he's so obsessed about subs that he has to have that feeling when he's working, So
wow. That's a really cool point. I'm glad you brought that up. This is it's a new insight that I've never thought about. And I'm gonna think about that when I'm going to Halilit in Tel Aviv and checking out what they have there.
But on a serious note, you should check out Focal.
I know everyone tells me about the Focals.
The little ones though.
Oh yeah,
they're crazy, man. They have like a new line called Shape. And there's one I think called Shape 45. They're tiny, but they're amazing sounding and super clear in the low frequencies. I have no idea how it's even possible, but it sounds amazing. Check it out.
All right, done. Yeah. I will check it out. So just because I have my eye on the clock and I have to run and pick up my son at a certain time. I mean, I could talk about this stuff forever.
No, I gotta go too in a minute.
Okay, so can we quickly do the sauce section?
Yeah,
where we kind of break down a track that you were involved in, and I'm kind of choosing a third. Well, you gave me permission to use this one, but so I recently played with the drummer Don Maya, who plays in Tatra and who you've worked with, and you guys did these really cool sessions in a wood shop. Mm-hmm. Where he kind of plays the drums and then you're messing with the drums while they're being played in real time. So I kind of wanted to get a little bit of what the picture of what went into that was. And so so let's have a listen real quick to about 90 seconds of Woodhouse 12, and then we'll talk about what went into it.
No problem. Sure.
Amazing. So yeah, dude, such a cool track. It's just like one drummer, and I don't even know what you're doing, but you're doing crazy stuff. So let's yeah. I mean, you can see in the YouTube video, which I'll put a link to, like that you're kind of just tweaking everything as it's happening. So like, tell us what happened.
Okay, so it all started basically with a different project where me, Don, and Yechezkel Raz, which is a really talented musician as well,